This is what most mornings look like for John Robinson.
It's like a weight on you. It's just like a weight that you can't get off of. When I go to walk, I got this weight. I got to carry it every step. Anytime you sit down or lay down, it's a battle getting back up.
He relies on breathing machines to do it as lungs no longer can.
It's tough. I mean, you know, it just guts you. I mean, it's cruel. I know that. It's a silent killer. I can tell you that.
John worked as a coal miner in the Appalachian Mountains for more than 25 years. In 2014, he was diagnosed with black lung, a progressive disease caused by inhaling coal and rock dust. He was 48.
But I had a gut feeling, yeah, eventually it's going to show up, but I didn't think it would show up that young. I figured I'd be an old man when it showed up. And
Black lung was once thought of as an old man's disease, but today, coal miners are developing it younger and in more severe forms.
That is different from my dad and my grandfather's black lung. It is a different beast altogether.
I was 26 years old when I went in the mines. Then I was diagnosed with black lung at 41 years old. I'm a single father, and my daughter lives with me. You sit and think by yourself when kids asleep. Am I going to live till she's 18?
Fault lines travel deep into America's coal country to find out why black lung is surging, and the human cost behind the energy that powers the country and the world.
There's nights I can wake up, and it'll wake me up out of my sleep like somebody's suffocating me. And then I wake up gasping for air.
Central Appalachia, where Virginia and Kentucky meet, is home to some of the highest quality coal in the U.S. It helps create electricity and produce steel that's used around the world. For generations, coal mining has meant a steady paycheck, far more than most other jobs around here could offer. Miners can earn six-figure salaries with benefits.
when I was young, I seen how the miners lived and what they had. And it's because of the good money, you know, nice homes, nice cars, everything was good. And I thought, you know, that's what I want too, you know.
A third-generation miner, John began working in the mines when he was 20 years old. He had just become a father.
When I was growing up in a small town, I seen the coal miners that had been covered up and broke up and busted up and was eat up with black lung, couldn't half walk, couldn't half breathe. I seen all that, but still you got that money. You think what you can do with that money, you'll do about anything.
John mainly worked as a roof bolter, a job which requires miners to drill directly into rock. He'd spend up to 10 hours a day underground.
Well, then I'd take a shower, seemed like take a shower after work and blow my nose or something. It'd pure black, you know, come out of your nose when you breathe it all in that day. The dust that you see everywhere, I ain't saying it don't do damage, it does, but it's the dust you don't see that's so fine. That's the one that's killing us.
John was likely breathing in silica, tiny crystalline particles inside rock shards. Silica is up to 20 times more toxic than coal dust and can scar a miner's lungs faster and more severely. And today, miners are exposed to more of it than ever because of the changes in how coal is mined.
Nowadays, they mine a lot of rock because coal seems the easy, good stuff. It's pretty much gone. You have to go way down in the earth to get to the really, really good stuff. So now they're mining stuff that they wouldn't have mined years ago.
we gained access to a working coal mine. We wanted to see firsthand why miners are still being exposed to silica. Part of the answer lies inside the mountain, where coal sits in thin seams sandwiched between bands of rock, like a layer cake.
Especially here in central Appalachia, after you mine coal for 100 years, the big coal seams are long gone. You know, that was the easy stuff. You could go in and you're just mining it out. It's there, it's available, it's easy.
So miners are cutting through more layers of rock to reach what's left. And they're using machines that grind the rock faster and into a much finer dust.
The body, particularly our respiratory and pulmonary system, will put up with quite a bit. So it doesn't have to be perfectly clean air. You had a great-grandfather that worked 48 years in mining, and he wasn't in clean air. It's just the technology wasn't grinding that coal into very, very fine particles that could reach further into your lung like the equipment can now. I don't think many miners realize just how much risk they were as the conditions changed over the years, but many of them, they're gonna do it. I mean, they, you know, because they don't have another good option to support their family if they want to live here.
I mean, his health is it's just devastating for me to have to see every day that he goes, you know, a bad day, and a bad day's a bad day, like today's a bad day. Another day might be a good day, and then we're thankful for those days. We don't get them much.
Today, John is recovering from an upper respiratory infection. He gets them several times a year because of black lung.
What does it mean for your identity to go from a man that can move mountains to having trouble walking across the kitchen?
It hurts. I mean, just like getting out of work, you know, supplying, taking care of the family, and then get down to where you can't do nothing. I felt lower than a snake's belly. I mean, I did. I felt like a nobody. I felt like I failed my wife, my kids, my grandkids. I felt like I failed everything. Uh-oh. You done got the cows. Oh, Lordy. You done got the cows stirred up, baby.
John recently turned 60. He went to the doctor to see if he might qualify for a lung transplant, but they told him he didn't because of his history of blood clots.
If I had to do over and know what I know now, had a wife and kids, I'd still yet do it. But if I were a single man and know what I know now, what the end result was, I probably wouldn't do it.
But for your family, you'd still do it.
I'd do anything. If for my family, I'd do anything. I sure would.
I guess we got a beautiful home, we got this, yes, and Cole paid for this. But look at my husband. You know, you can't put a price on life. You can't do it.
Seen a lot of people pass away from black lung disease, yes. I know I've never got numb to it. It still hurts. You know, you see people that I went to church with, people that I grew up with, have passed away with it or are waiting on transplants, my age or younger. One of the things we're looking for first is these tiny little nodules.
Dr. Brandon Crum is a fourth-generation coal miner who later became a radiologist. He's trained to read coal miners' chest x-rays to identify black lung.
So all of these larger white spots here, this is all complicated black lung or progressive massive fibrosis. So here.
In 2013, he began tracking cases of black lung at his clinic in eastern Kentucky.
But this is the kind of case where you're like, hey, it's coming whether you believe it or not.
Correct.
And it's this 2 years later.
That's right.
And this guy's in his 30s?
Yes. In about an 18-month period, we had 60 cases of complicated in this clinic alone that had been x-rayed. And to put that in perspective, for the entire decade of the 90s, I think they had reported 30 to 40 cases for the entire decade before that. I think a lot of people thought that black lung was an extinct or a dying disease, and it was just the opposite.
Complicated black lung is the most severe form of the disease, and Dr. Crum found it at higher rates among his patients.
Black lung has always been around here. But we're seeing people with complicated black lung A, B, and C with work 10 years, less than 10 years, less than 15 years.
Why are you seeing people get it who haven't worked in the mines that long?
One of the things is definitely going to be silica. With the dust particles that actually get into the lungs and remain in the lungs, these are very, very small. So they kind of bypass the body's normal immune mechanism of getting it out of there. So we're seeing more silica exposure than we did 20 or 30 years ago, without a doubt.
Dr. Crum was particularly concerned that severe cases of the disease were showing up in younger miners.
What's the youngest you've seen with complicated black lung?
29.
Oh,
Yeah, late 20s is the youngest I've seen.
29.
Yeah, late 20s, 28, 29. They've already passed away. The youngest ones that I've seen it in, they've already passed.
How old were they when they passed?
Mid-30s.
What's the cure for black lung?
Yeah, there is no cure for it. Unfortunately, we have medications. They can improve the life to some degree, but there is no cure for it.
Oh, I didn't know. Huh? So that's what a normal morning meds.
I mean, that's basically breakfast.
And this is the least pills I've been on since I've had this surgery.
Mackie Branham Jr. was one of Dr. Crum's patients. He was diagnosed with progressive massive fibrosis, the most advanced stage of black lung, at 38 years old.
I pushed it to where I couldn't walk maybe 15 foot without almost blacking out.
Yeah.
Bending over was impossible. And my organs was already dying on the inside from lack of oxygen.
Among Dr. Crum's patients, Mackie is one of the youngest, with one of the most severe cases of the disease. This is what he sounded like at the time.
I'm currently 39 years old. I live in Ice Cream, Kentucky. That's Sycamore. I have 5 beautiful babies and an excellent wife.
I seen my dad as bending ground. I know how he'd worked for so long, before he had almost 36, 37 years underground. And he was still all right. You know, I figured I had at least that long.
Mackie's a second-generation miner. His father also has black lung.
And I asked him, I said, Dad, how far does it go? He said, son, I ain't never seen nobody reach stage 4. And I was at the last stage before 4.
When he was 46, Mackie underwent a double lung transplant. The surgery took about 15 hours. The doctor told his wife, Amber, that it took longer than usual because the scarring on his lungs was so severe.
He said that his lungs was like a lump of coal. Said he's never seen nothing like that.
This is a piece of Mackie's lung.
It's like you raised so much coal, part of you became coal.
That specimen that I showed you, and that's actually in water. Imagine if that didn't have no water on it, how dry it would look.
6 months ago, Mackie experienced a lung rejection when the immune system attacks the transplanted lung as a foreign organ. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks.
You just want to give up and not have to fool with this pain and suffering. But then if you do that, then I let the person that actually died, that gave me the lungs to live, you let them down too.
If someone were to get a double lung transplant, are they good to go for the rest of their life with a new set of lungs?
No, the mean survival of that's about 3.74 years. So even if they get new lungs, most of them rarely make it over 5 years after they get new lungs.
They took and they cut me from under this arm, as you can see. It's a deep, and it goes all the way across.
It's been 3 years since Mackie's operation.
There's not many people out there that's lived very long with them, a new set of lungs. So that tells you out there that your time's limited.
We've known for a very long time how to prevent miners from dying from black lung disease. And we've done a terrible job of preventing black lung disease in the United States. And there's not easy solutions for a lot of the ills here. But one of them, black lung, is stop covering up these miners in atmospheres of dust. That's all you have to do.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Black Lung Association, Chapter 2, March the 3rd, 2026. If you all would remove your hats and please stand, we will have a word of prayer.
Groups like the Black Lung Association have been advocating for miners' rights for years, pushing to reduce their exposure to deadly coal dust.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
They say companies can improve ventilation underground and use real-time monitors to make sure dangerous levels aren't ignored. But these protections cost money.
Because companies want to make a little bit more in profit. They're already profitable. They just want to make more.
For decades, advocates have been pushing Democratic and Republican administrations for stricter limits on dust, especially silica, the most dangerous kind.
We really need to hit, like our congressman, to come on and co-sponsor the Black Lung Improvement Act.
This is something that affects almost every family in our region.
But those rules are often delayed, weakened, or never fully implemented.
You know what I'd like to do to those senators? I'd like to put them in a chamber with coal dust. Let it as black as it can be and stick them in a chamber and see how long they could stay in there and breathe.
A new federal rule to limit silica dust was finalized under the Biden administration, but is now tied up in court after the coal industry claimed it was too costly to enforce. And the Trump administration has effectively sidelined the silica rule while pushing to expand coal production.
You know, you want to make America healthy again? Let's start it right here. Let's start it with Black Lung. Let's make our miners healthy again.
We requested an interview with the National Mining Association, one of several industry groups that lobbied against the silica ruling, but they never responded.
The coal industry has always been different and has been treated differently and has been allowed to do things miles underground that almost any other company would not, or industry would not be allowed to get away with. A way to think about it, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, is it's an outlaw industry. You know, the bill never comes due for the industry, but it does for their miners.
We're at their mercy. It's not fair. It's not fair to the miner. It's not fair to us widows.
Because coal miners get black lung from their jobs, they and their surviving family members are entitled to federal benefits. But the system is complicated and slow. Pam Stacy has been trying to navigate it for years.
The burden of proof lies with me. I have to prove that his death was either caused by black lung or black lung contributed to his death. To me, that's a no-brainer, you know. He had black lung.
Pam's husband, Herbert, died in 2020 when he was 68 years old. They'd been together since she was 16. Herbert worked underground in the mines for more than 2 decades.
They had to wear these respirators on their face, and there was a filter that had to be changed, and every day I changed that filter. It broke my heart because it was black.
He never smoked, but he developed severe heart and lung conditions, which forced him to stop working.
I had to take care of him, bathe him, feed him, plus work a full-time job and take care of my children. And we lived on what I made, because at that time, he didn't have anything.
Pam says that after he was diagnosed with black lung, Herbert qualified for benefits, nearly $1,000 a month. But then the coal company challenged his claim and required that he see their doctor.
What did the company doctors say?
Said that he didn't have black lung. And, you know, just maybe asthma, you know, things like that. They call it emphysema, when that's just a cover-up for fibrosis and black lung.
Herbert lost his benefits. He died before receiving them again.
He got so sick and couldn't make it to the appointments because he was always in the hospital, and he just gave up.
When his benefits got denied, did both of you realize what that would mean for you if he passed, or when he passed?
Yes, that was devastating. And he knew, because when he was dying. My daughter-in-law, she went in the bedroom and she said he was adding numbers. So that was really hard.
Why was that hard for you to hear that he was adding numbers?
Because I knew what he was thinking. Is she going to be able to make it without me?
Because Herbert wasn't receiving benefits when he died, none passed on to Pam. For the past 6 years, she's been fighting on her own.
This is like you need a paralegal. All this is put on you.
Yes.
To prove her case, she made the difficult decision to have Herbert's lungs removed for an autopsy.
I didn't want them to have to tear his body apart, but they did. And it was my decision. Because I thought that was the only way I could prove the disease that he had.
This one says that as a result of the conditions of his coal mine employment, the miner contracted pneumoconiosis. And then it says the evidence shows the disease was caused in least part by work. But then they're like splitting hairs to say that the disease didn't lead to the miner's death.
Right.
Coal companies are responsible for compensating sick miners.
Here's another one.
But when they go bankrupt or refuse to pay, the Department of Labor steps in.
21.
Okay. And it was denied.
Mm-hmm.
The agency denied Pam's appeal, saying there wasn't enough evidence that black lung contributed to, caused, or hastened Herbert's death.
And I wish that they had to go underground and see what it was like, because they wouldn't last.
She says the last time she heard anything from the Department of Labor was 2 years ago.
Have you been able to support yourself without him?
I draw Social Security and a little bit of retirement that he got.
Is that enough?
That's it. No. You know, the benefits would make it much easier for me. That money only goes so far in a month. And once it's gone, it's gone. Can't save.
You live in paycheck to paycheck?
Yes. Yep.
We asked the Department of Labor about Pam's case. They said they can't comment while it's still open and that appeals can stretch on for years.
He got so tired of trying. He stopped, but I'm not going to. If I lose this one, I'll appeal it again. They will get tired of seeing my name, because I'm going to fight for what he worked for.
Why?
Because I think I owe it to him and to myself.
That level of carnage and misery for these families, it's unbelievable that we allow this to go on.
You get a lot of attaboys when you're there living there, working every day, making them money. Mm-hmm. Like an old dog, pat him on top of the head, good dog, you know. But boy, will you get hurt, get out of work or something. Kind of get forgotten about. Mm-hmm. We sure do, you get forgotten. Because you went from making them money to costing money. They don't like it.
There are fewer coal mines and fewer miners today, but the impact of the work and its cost remains.
I'm not scared about dying. I'm more scared about what it's going to do to my family. Who's going to take care of them?